How's it going, folks? So yeah, last week, I went on an adventure with a good friend, and it was lots of fun. We drove through the rain, and it was pretty serious, but we got there in the end. We went on an adventure to see Garbage, which is fantastic. They're a great band from the 90s, you might remember. So we got there in the end and we watched them, and they played really well and they played all their great songs. But there was no Oscar the Grouch, so I was a little bit dismayed by that. But that's how it goes, you know. We were on the way back, and we were listening to the radio, of all things to be listening to. The radio said, "We're going to play old school jams." And I said to my friend, I said to her, "Oh, I don't remember making jam in school, So I've been having some fun at work, just making some silly jokes with some things. The other day I saw a kid dressed as a pilot, and I was like, oh, he's a tiny pilot. Maybe things in his life are a little plain, And I do wonder if all the kids asking for Barbies are like, if this doesn't come with a free shrimp, I don't know what's going to happen. There is that, and all these dream houses, they want Barbie dream houses. I'm like, is that a house full of small beds for Barbie dolls? Like, is this like where Barbie, are there dream catchers in Barbie's dream house? It just makes me wonder about these things, These things, they have me pondering a lot. As I've said in previous episodes, my name's Martin, and I don't have any pronouns. All my nouns are amateur, they don't get paid. So I was busking. I was playing at a gig. I played at a market last Friday, which at the end of the day, it's not something I thought would have ever happened to me. But somebody asked me, they messaged my page and they said, "Hey Marty, do you want to come along and play your guitar and screech like a broken drunk-ass seagull into the microphone, and you can have some fun and we'll give you some money?" And I was like, oh my golly, yeah. So I did that. Anyway, I was playing a song called Hey Ya by Outkast, which is a fantastic tune, I must say. It gets some people having a bit of a boogie sometimes. So there's a bug, I think it's a Christmas beetle, being inundated by these little bugs all over the show. But anyway, I was playing this song, Hey Ya, and we got to the bit where he's like, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, and then somebody, of all things to do, somebody drove their car. It was one of those ones with the airbag suspension, and they drove it up onto the paddock. And made it twerk, which when I was singing the shake it part, which is, honestly, I don't even think that's happened for Outkast, unless of course maybe they like did that as part of their show, like on stage performance, like brought some cars out and had them twerk, which would have been, honestly, that would have been super dope on Outkast's part. Nonetheless, the other day these kids, they came in and they wanted their pick done, and we did it, and they were asking for V-Bucks, and I was like, oh, okay, all right, yeah, cool. And of course I'm just like, oh, we'll see what we can do, because Santa doesn't say yes or no, and we're not promising anything, especially in front of their parents, because that just won't go down. That's all part of the rigmarole, it's all part of this is what you do. The kid asks for a Barbie dream house, the kid asks for V-Bucks, the kid asks for a real mermaid, the kid asks for a real horse. You say, we'll see what we can do. That's all we ever say, okay? All right, we never promise anything. We never, yeah. Anyway, so this kid, these kids, they asked for V-Bucks, and they were like, oh, cool, you know. And we did the picture, and at the end of the thing, I was like, well, I'll see what I can do about your V-Bucks or whatever else it was, monster trucks or some shit. Anyway, and I said, and then I said, but I've got something else, and I handed them their colouring in books and their stickers, which is what I've been giving out. You know, that's what the company supplies. Anyway, gave them that, and I said to them, oh, this might keep you busy or off your screens for 5 minutes. And then I said, or maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and they were like 6, 7, 6. I was like, oh my. That's exactly the response I wanted from them, though. That's exactly what I wanted them to say, because I just knew that these kids were just like that, you know, 6, 7, 6, 7. I'm like, yeah, cool. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, at least they're not, you know, at least they, yeah, at least there's one other person I saw on, I think it was TikTok or something, was like, no, at least they're not like thrusting a crotch and saying like 69 and all this other bullshit that we used to say when I was, you know, when I was little. But yeah, no, so anyway, let's get on with this godforsaken podcast, eh? I seen something at work the other day, and it said, and yeah, it just said, it said Santa size, and I was like, I said to them straight up, like I pointed it out today actually. I said to them, look, I'm not running exercise classes. Like we're not. I said to them, like I'm not doing that. And like in this sweaty outfit, all right, like, because I mean, you know, it's Santa. You know, you've got your fake beard, you've got your wig, you've got a big, thick, like, you know, hat on, you've got gloves on, you've got a big, thick coat on, you've got big, giant pants on, and all the rest of that. And yeah, it's a lot. And I said to them, I'm not doing Santa size. And then they were like, yeah, that's, you know. And then it said on next to it, it said REM. And I was like, so am I supposed to like do like a Christmas themed workout to REM? Is that how that works? And like just made me wonder, like, was it like, what is that? Was I supposed to like be like, that's me in the sleigh, that's me in the sleigh, giving out lots of presents, you know, stuff like that. It just made me wonder, you know, like, yeah. But no, the actual Santa size in REM is a reference to the size of the photo frame. So the photo frame is like this, as opposed to like a smaller size. And the REM is rare earth magnet. So it's got a magnet in it, and yeah. So that's what that actually stands for. Anyway, yeah. So I was walking home from the mount though, and I saw some people doing some working out stuff, and because there's like lots of like outdoor group workouts, and like people like, you know, they do stuff like, you know, they're like, you know, I don't know, they're doing their workouts, and there's these instructors, and they take up public space, and I don't think they pay anything for it. But anyway, these groups, they're up there and they're doing these things, and it just made me think, well, there's dog yoga, and there's you know, there's these people doing push-ups and sit-ups and groups and all this other crap, and then there's, you know, and there's dog yoga, and there's I think there's cat yoga. I'm pretty sure there's cat yoga. And there's, you know, there's lots of other kinds of yoga, like goat yoga and hot yoga. And it just made me think, what about seagull yoga? Like, we could just go to the beach and like make a massive ring of like, you know, open some fresh muscles and spread it around in a big ring, and then inside the ring we could do yoga, you know. We could do seagull yoga, you know. It would be pretty good. I think anyway, it would be pretty good. We could do seagull yoga. I don't know how that would go, but it would be good. But yeah, I just think, you know, Yeah. So anyway, someone was asking on Reddit. They were talking about donating your organs, and after your death, what are you going to do with your organs? And I've always thought about that. Actually, I've thought for quite a while now that you could. It would be good for me to donate my organs. But at the same time, obviously, I'd need a far bigger flat. I think I'd need to get a house of my own. And then I could try and, as people are either selling or giving them away online, because a lot of people, they do free pianos or free organs or whatever. I could just get the organs, like a pump organ or one of those ones with 3 keyboards and all these knobs and buttons and all this other stuff. I could do that, and yeah, I could just put them in my house, and then when I pass away, I could just be cool, and then we'll donate those organs, and we could donate those organs to I don't know, maybe the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, or a school or something like that. We could do that. So yeah, I don't know how long this episode's going to be, but I think I've been thinking about it for a little while now, and I think I'd be right to do this. But yeah, I think I'm just going to call it now and just say this is the 10th and final episode for this year, at least. So yeah, so enjoy it while you can. So we've got some Am I the Asshole here for being confused by my boyfriend's new sexual fetish. My boyfriend, 25, male, and I, not me, somebody else, 26, female, I'm not 26 nor a female, have been in a great relationship for almost 2 whole years, 2 entire years, 24 months, oh my god. And yes, so it's 104 weeks. Anyway, their new relationship is under a bit of a strain when we moved in together a few months ago, since he's not steadily employed and would spend a lot of time hanging out around the house and doing nothing. I told him he needed to get hobbies, and at first he had trouble feeling passionate about anything. It's amazing he doesn't already have hobbies. You're 25 and you don't already have hobbies. What are you doing with your life, bro? Anyway, he got really into reading, and I was overjoyed. I became even more attracted to him. We had lots to talk about, and the relationship was going better than ever. A couple of weeks ago, though, it started to seem like he was avoiding me. I would come home and he'd be reading. I tried to start a conversation with him, and he would only respond with a single word answers while continuing to read this one book. He started bringing the book to the dinner table. I told him I found that rude, especially on days where I'd cooked for both of us after having worked a full shift. And if he's not cooking and you are working and he's not working, then I think his hobby needs to be domestication. Seriously. Anyway, but anyway, he would only put the book away after I'd asked him multiple times. It seemed he didn't want to talk to me. I tried asking him about the book, thinking that maybe we could discuss it, but he kept saying I wouldn't understand it, which I tried not to be offended by. It's not like I don't also read, I just haven't had a lot of time for it these days. I don't really want to go into detail about this, but I guess that it's the subject of the post. Our sex life has always been incredibly normal. I'm extremely vanilla, and I thought he was as well. No judgment, but that stuff isn't for me. Weirdly though, he'd been blowing me off for the past couple of weeks, and we were having sex every night, which was unusual to say the least. He would put down the book and seemingly immediately be in the mood. I figured that maybe he was just having trouble expressing his affection for me in other ways, because I know he struggles with depression, so I wasn't upset. I figured that in a month of this was still an issue, I would talk to him about it. But again, I know he is depressed, and sometimes it makes his behavior seem irrational. I know he loves me, and I trust him. Last night, he asked if we could talk. I got excited and figured he was ready to have a conversation about how weird our relationship has been lately. I asked what he wanted to talk about, and he said it was a sexual request. He pulled out the book and explained it was Infinite Jest by David Foster Wallace, which I have since looked up. It seemed like a normal book, but it doesn't make the situation make any more sense to me, and that he wanted me to hit him with it, while telling him he was too stupid to finish it. I've probably overreacted, but what do you say in that situation? It didn't make any sense to me. He shut down completely and walked out of the room. I tried to follow him, but he locked himself in the bathroom, presumably with the book. This morning I sat him down and told him I was sorry for how I'd reacted, but I just hadn't understood his request, and it really confused me. I told him that maybe if he explained why he found it sexual, I would be able to understand. But he kind of froze up and insisted there was no way to explain it, and that I would only understand if I also read the book. This book is really long, and I don't have time to read a book that long right now, which I'm sure he knows. Then he told me he had been talking to a man online who understood, and that maybe we should open the relationship if I wasn't able to meet his sexual needs. I am very monogamous and could not be in an open relationship, something he knows. I'll admit I got really emotional again, and now he won't speak to me. He locked himself in the bathroom with the book again and his phone, and maybe I'm overreacting, but I'm concerned he's messaging the man he was talking about. I'm sorry if I'm being judgmental, but this just came out of nowhere, and I do not know. I don't know what to do. I love my boyfriend so much, and our relationship was perfect before he started reading Infinite Jest. I don't want our relationship to end over this. So, they the arsehole. What do you think? It sounds like some yeah. It sounds like some things that might oh gosh, sorry. It sounds like some things that might actually happen in real life. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that person's the meanie pants for judging their boyfriend for wanting to be hit over their head and telling them they're stupid and they can't finish the book, and that is somehow sexual? Because I'm not sure if that is somehow sexual whatsoever. But who am I to say? All right. Yes. Yes. So we've got another one here. It's am I the arsehole for not letting the previous owner of my house come back in to see it again after she had moved out? I, 25 female. I'm not a 25. Again, I'm not a 25-year-old female. Have been living in this house with my parents since 2020. This house was built and owned by one family before us. The original owners were a carpenter, his wife, and their daughter. The owner and his friends moved out to the country and built houses all next door to each other in 1976. So them and their families were all super close. The owner's wife passed in 2014 and the daughter moved out in 2015. The guy kept living there by himself until he passed away in 2020. After his passing, his daughter travelled back to the state and sold the house to us before leaving again. When we moved in, we found a few boxes of old family pictures, expensive carpentry tools, and we found super expensive cooking supplies. We contacted the daughter of the owner so that we could return the items, but she didn't answer. Over the years, we continued to try and contact her through the text messages, phone calls, emails, and even tried to have the neighbour contact her. In 2022, she finally answered and screamed at my mum for continuously trying to talk to her. My mother explained everything to her, but the girl said that she didn't want any of her parents' things. Lunatic, yo, jeez. Then she called my mum a few explicit words and hung up. After the situation, we stopped trying to contact her and we sold the carpentry tools, sold some of the cooking supplies, and we gave the family pictures to the neighbour that we knew was friends with the previous owner. We thought that was the end. However, last week I was in the backyard with my neighbour, and my neighbour called me over to his friends. He had a younger woman with him who introduced herself as the girl who used to live in the house that I now live in. She thanked me for giving me the family them a lot, and giving the family them. She lost her mind. She what? Family pictures to the neighbour, and then asked me about the carpentry tools and cooking supplies. When I told her that we sold them, she lost her mind. She was angry that we would get rid of something that was so meaningful to her parents. Well, maybe if they were meaningful, they wouldn't have left them behind. Or she wouldn't have left them behind. When I explained that we tried to give them back to her, she called me a liar, and yeah, so she's clearly lost the plot, completely off her brain. Anyway, then she asked to see the inside of the house for old time's sakes, but I didn't like how she treated me, and I didn't like what she said to my mother in 2022, so I told her no. This made her get even angrier, and it made the neighbour angry as well. They both yelled at me while I hurried inside and locked the doors, but about 10 minutes later the girl was banging on the front door saying that she wanted to come inside. My parents told her through the door that she couldn't come in. This made the neighbour pissed, and he joined her and nearly left a dent in the door. Wow, oh gosh, I would have called the cops. We asked them to leave for over an hour before they finally left. Now it's all been a week, and all of the neighbours know about what happened. They keep giving us dirty looks, doing that classic old person thing of grunting whenever we try to talk to them. They all adore the girl because she grew up hanging out with them and their kids, and so now we are the most hated people in the neighbourhood. No, you're not the asshole. Those people are idiots. Yeah, I would have called the cops. I don't know why these people didn't call the cops, for example. And I don't really think it's good for people to be like, oh, well, I'm deserved of this, etc. And really, they're not. They're really, really not, Because at the end of the day, these people, honestly, they don't deserve that time nor attention, and that's not okay, But that's how life goes. Oh gosh, yeah. According to News Talk ZB, polls show that New Zealanders are backing the current government. The current regime is less than unreliable and less than undesirable, and really has no clue about what is actually going on, nor how to run an economy whatsoever. It's not okay, and it's not going to be accepted at all whatsoever, and it never should be, because at the end of the day, we need a country that is actually going to provide for its citizens and provide very well for everyone who is actually working and paying tax and doing things that matter, that's just how it goes, So Millie and Jimmy Fallon had a bit of a moment. Millie Bobby Brown, I think her name is, for the 11th time on the show. I thought what should I bring to thank you for having me on the show for so many years, always taking care of me. So I bought you 11's bracelet from the show, which Hooper gives to her in season 2. And because you've been such a parental figure and always looked out for me, I wanted to give this to you to say thank you. All right. So Millie Bobby Brown gave Jimmy Fallon 11's bracelet. I don't know who 11 is. I think that's from Stranger Things. Yeah, I've never seen the show. That's the thing. I don't really keep up with a lot of these shows. I still haven't seen. There's a long list of shows I haven't seen. Long list of movie franchises I also haven't seen. And a lot of them also I don't want to see. You know, I haven't seen most of Star Wars. I think I've seen maybe 2 Star Wars movies, if that, and not memorable. Frankly, straight up. Not interested. I saw some of one of the Lord of the Rings movies. Never seen the rest of them. Don't need to. It's like 12 hours of walking. I can do that on my own, bro. I don't even need to look at my legs. What else was there? Hunger Games. Never seen that. Game of Thrones. Never seen that. Stranger Things, never seen that. Was into Metallica way before Game of Thrones. Was into Metallica way before Stranger Things. Don't need to be into Metallica to listen to what. Yeah, don't need to be into Stranger Things to listen to Metallica. I'll do that on my own. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Maybe if they put Pantera into some of these things, maybe the world would be a different place. I think that would be very good, or maybe some old Sepultura, they could put like a Rise, into something, I'm sure there's some way they could figure out, something like, where there's some kind of pale grey sky, and they're like, we shall arise, or something like that. I don't know, but I think that's what we need to do. Is and like also like not just that, but also like put some like things like can you put some things like some like good classic hardcore or old school hip hop into things as well. I think that would be very important. Yeah, very important. Very important thing to input into today's society, at least. But I just seen a meme here on r/comedy heaven where someone is saying, they're doing singing bowls, and someone was they were saying, can you believe I used to be addicted to coke? Frankly, yes, I can, because now you're onto singing bowls. So you must have been high as hell. So yeah, there is that. Oh my gosh, honestly. Yeah. So there's an article here from RNZ saying Te Pātai Māori is high performing despite dismal poll result. So apparently there was a political poll for the parties, and the result was dismal for Te Pātai Māori. Te Pāti Māori. It looks like the poll result has National up 2 points to the Greens down, translated into seats in the House of Centre. Right now, the right wing and extremist right wing would have 67 seats. They're still trying to sell anyway. They're still trying to sell the current Luxon regime as somehow centre right when they are right and extremist right wing, having the protector of pedophiles and as the deputy prime minister is of course obviously not just disgraceful and fully very disrespectful to the voting public, in fact all of New Zealand in general, but it's also an extremist right-wing thing to do, which is not surprising considering we do have such a government in control at this point in time, unfortunately. Anyway, let's just adjust that. So yeah, they are saying that they are high performing. So it just makes me wonder exactly why what they're high on, and are they performing more kapa haka? Because at this point in time, although I did actually vote for Rawiri Waititi and Te Pāti Māori, at the end of the day, it seems like what I've voted for is a kapa haka group and not something that's going to bring about policy, which is actually what I voted for was a group that was going to bring about some kind of policy. It seems that all they've really done is gone, but I'm Māori and all. And it's like everyone can pukana, bro. But at the end of the day, what you need to do is just give them the hard line and say, this is how it is. If you don't like it, we won't vote for you, and we won't vote for your policies, and we won't support anything you do. And if you try and get these things through, and you try and force anything through, then there's going to be a lot of problems. Anyway, and yeah, it doesn't seem like they've done that, but also at the end of the day, they really don't have much sway, unfortunately. The current Luxon regime does actually have a reasonable amount of support from and numbers and seats and voting seats, which is sadly disgraceful on the part of New Zealand, because obviously we are being absolutely bent over backwards, forwards and sideways, and being vigorously thrusted into in the rear by all kinds of colonoscopy enthusiasts, shall we say. Anyway, that's enough about politics. Here's one that was, if you woke up tomorrow as the opposite gender for 24 hours, what was the first thing you would be doing? I would be opening my eyes and blinking and breathing. So that's the first thing I would be doing. Yeah, and I guess, figuring out what to do next. I guess go to the bathroom. That's what I usually do anyway. So yeah, I guess I'd just be like, all right, cool. Well, different ways of going to the bathroom right now. Suppose we're gonna sit down instead of standing up and peeing. So yeah, still, get up and do what I need to do. Yeah, trying to find things on here that are a little different from the usual, but we can't always find that, so we will continue to try. What does communism mean in my country? In my country, communism doesn't mean much at all. I'm just kind of rolling through Reddit, and there's some pareidolia and some random questions. Am I the arsehole for not wanting to split the bill equally when I just had half a sandwich? I'm a student who's on my parents' money. We, 3 of my best friends and 4 classmates that we barely know. One of my friends ordered just a drink, and my other friend and I shared one single sandwich, and the other classmate had ordered a drink and multiple food items. I requested politely we go Dutch, saying I have a lot of expenses this month, and I dismissed, saying you can pay me back. But I was dismissed, saying you can pay me back whenever, or just don't pay. It's fine, no biggie. So no, I guess you're not the asshole, because that's not how splitting the bill works. Anyway, haven't really been able to find a lot of weird or different or interesting things, be that on TikTok or be that on Reddit or Facebook or anything really, which is fine. It just makes me think, I mean, what happened this week, I guess, Tuesday last week I stayed home and I made the podcast. I didn't go busking. I would normally go busking at the Mount here, and that was fine. I didn't go busking at the Mount. And then Wednesday I did go busking at the Mount. I did go busking. I went busking in Grierson, and I went after my shift actually, which was different. I went after my shift and I started busking at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is all right, cool. So anyway, I was there and I was busking away and I was anyway, doing my little thing, and I still made almost like $40, which was pretty cool. And then and then that was when my friend messaged me and said, hey, let's go to Garbage, and I was like, cool as. I wonder if Oscar the Grouch is going to be there. Same joke as before. I know, terrible. Anyway, and then Thursday I did go busking. I mean, that's the thing, is, you know, it was a bit silly of me, but I needed to make sure I paid my bills, you know? And so I did, and I still had my busking money from the day before, and we got home from Garbage, and I got home at about, after driving all the way there, and driving most of the way back, and then driving home from a friend's place, I got to bed around 4 o'clock, and and then got up about, I don't know, 8ish, and got myself out, and was busking by about 9:30, 10ish, over in Brookfield. I went there, played in Brookfield, and I got myself some more money, but like almost $40 again, which was cool. Made sure I could get it all in my account, and it was a bit of a mission though, because like got up, had some food, went busking, drove from there, which is quite a way from my place to Brookfield anyway. It's about I don't know, maybe 10, 15 k's, and then I drove from there to Patamara, and that's about another maybe 30 k's. I don't know, maybe less, maybe 20 k's. I'm not really sure. Anyway, and then to do the deposit, because it was all cash coins. It was annoying. There's only 2 branches that take coins with the bank I'm with, which is less than okay. Anyway, and because, you know, I mean, it is coins and stuff like that, and I know we're in 2025 and people are like, oh yeah, the shilling bit hacking, and all this other, you know, they think buskers are magically going to be able to afford, you know, some kind of app or some other technology piece that we're going to trust the public with to swipe their debit card or their phone thing or whatever it is, you know. I don't want to do that. I don't really want to do that at all. I kind of actually want to keep cash alive. Anyway, so I had to drive all the way back from Patamara all the way to Bethlehem, which is a long way. Not Bethlehem in Israel. This is a different Bethlehem entirely. This is Bethlehem in Tauranga. Anyway, I went to Bethlehem Shops, which is a huge precinct, which is all privately owned land. Anyway, went there, made the deposit, and then went home. And it was a lot of driving. It was a lot of messing around, but I got there in the end. I gotta say, not an ideal situation whatsoever, but it is what it is. When you're depending on yourself to make sure your bills are paid, that's what you're doing, you know. You're getting out there, you're playing your music, or you're working your work, or you're selling your whatever it is. You've got to make sure that your bills are covered all of the time. That's all you can do, and that's fantastic, you know. It makes me think, that's what I like to hear about when I pay my bills. So here's another question. It's from r/life. What's one thing you wish you learned 10 years earlier? It could be money, work or relationships, mindset, or anything. Just curious. So 10 years ago, I would have been 34-ish. I probably would have been still doing this. I would have been, 30, I would have been, getting close to, I would have been at the end of my engineering certification actually, 10 years ago. And I went straight back into the mall centre gig that I'd been doing for a few years. And that was cool. 10 years ago, what was some things that I would have enjoyed doing or learning or would have been better to have known back then? Just a lot of things like keeping better control of myself, getting some therapy then, and booking myself in for therapy and counselling, and getting through that, and maybe getting myself on some kind of something that's going to help myself not be so depressed, and sort of regulate my moods a lot more, and trying to be a bit more consistent and better motivated and a good parent. I wasn't, especially when I was 34 and I was sort of like trying to pursue an actual career as a full-time parent and as and also someone who was trying to pursue like a full-time career in engineering with a growing child. It was quite a bit to try and really get my head around, but I still tried to do it. At the end of the day, I think looking around, I could have gotten to another place and said, hey, I probably could have just done better with all of the engineering I did try to learn, but at the same time, I think staying with it, maybe doing only like 2 full years at the company I did it with, and then moving on to a better company, and saying to that next company, hey, this is what I've done and this is where I'm at, and I would like to now, with my experience and my certifications, I would now like to move into something better that's going to educate me further in engineering, and so I can actually move forward and be a good engineer, and then go from there. I think I did it, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. So that's how that goes, really. I guess that's it. I guess it's time for Ask the Cat, which is always fun. We'll try and suss out this cat and ask her, How's it going, cuteness? Have you had a good day? What are you up to? Did you like getting brushed before? I gave you a good brushing. I tried to give you a good brushing. Was that good? Alright. So have you been enjoying going outside? You've been going outside quite a bit lately, Has that been good? Alright. Have you been trying any of the water? I put some water outside for you because I thought you might like some water on a boiling hot day. It's been very, very hot lately, hasn't it? I just thought you might like some water. Have you been enjoying some of the water I put out for you? You haven't been trying to drink out of the bottom of some of those plants, have you? My kitty? As you can see, Cuteness has been enjoying some of the towels. She's just been enjoying some of the towels because I haven't put my laundry away. But that's just how it goes, The cat's got to be comfortable. And that's just that, really.
Oh, that's what it is. I see. Anyway, so yeah. So have you found a job yet? Was your job just to be cute and little? Because I think you're awfully good at it. Good little kitty. Yeah. So if you've got I suppose this is the last episode, but yeah. So I think that's pretty much it. So that's the last episode for the Marty Cast for 2025. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you maybe in 2026 if we make it that far. You never know. If not, then we don't make it that far, and that's okay. But that's how it goes. If I don't make it that far, I don't know. Come get my cat. She'll probably be feasting on my corpse. That's okay. Alright. Thanks everyone for watching. Yeah, you've had enough of me. I've had enough of you. Cheers.